Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Open Mic Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Marc. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. This podcast is here for everybody on the Open Mic Comedy circuit, whether you're a comedian, an MC, a promoter, or even a tutor. And even comedy fans who've been watching the stars of the future in pub basements we seem to inhabit all over the place. If you're thinking I could do that, then this podcast will guide you on what to expect on this crazy circuit from those right in the centre of it. Today's guest is an interesting one because I'm quite excited about this because it's somebody I don't actually know, but was highly recommended. She hosts and MCs a great night by the look of it with some amazing acts. So please welcome to the stage, it's Victoria Smith.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. My coffee machine just decided to turn off when you started talking. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Forgot to turn it off before we started. Yeah. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah.
You getting there?
Yeah.
Nice and wide awake.
Just about. Yeah. Don't always recommend going on kids' school trips.
No.
The day before you do a podcast interview.
How old is the kid and how old? So what
the
kind
kids, of? The kids. They are, how old are they now? 9 and 7.
Oh, okay. So just into the kind of boisterous age.
Well, you say just into. My eldest is quite cool and calm. You know, he's really good with his words. He's super chilled out, a bit like his dad. But then my youngest is an absolute nut job. He's ginger, so he's got the temperament to go with it.
Right. Okay.
It's nothing against gingers. My husband's ginger. I've got a soft spot for gingers, but they kind of have a bit of a fiery personality, and he's been boisterous since birth.
Okay. Plenty of time to get used to it, and many more boisterous moments to come, I assume.
Yeah, I wouldn't have them any other way.
No, of course
just
not.
Sometimes a little bit quieter, that's all. But
yeah. So who is Victoria the comedian then?
Oh God. Who is she? That's a really complicated question because I don't really know. I've been doing this probably for about 18 months now, so not very long. I think when I go on stage, I maybe step into a slightly different character.
Okay.
Or I don't know if I'm a different character or an extension of just the general weirdo that I am every day. Who am I? I don't know. This is not going to be a great interview if this is what you're going to get. Who am I? Maybe we might find me along the way in this conversation. People can come to their own conclusions.
So when did comedy start for you then?
So probably about 2 years ago, around this month. What are we, May? No, maybe it's June. Almost 2 years ago, I did Logan Murray's comedy course.
Mm-hmm.
The one online. I did do a course before that.
Okay.
And I got kicked off.
Oh. Do I dare ask what you did?
I didn't really do anything. She didn't like me.
Oh.
And I don't know why. It's not like I could say I was funnier than she was or anything. She didn't even have a chance to be funny. Didn't even have a chance to really say or do anything. I just think she didn't really like me. And actually a few people on the course picked up on that.
Yeah.
And then I had this big email lined up ready to send to her. It was I edited it a few times because the original one wasn't going to be sent. And then before I got a chance to send it, I basically had this message saying, "You've been refunded." I was like, what's going on? And one of the guys in the group said, "What's happened?" I said, "I don't know." And then I realized I had this email saying, "I've decided to take you off the course because I'm clearly not the right teacher for you, blah, 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 blah."
Right.
And that was that. And so that kind of knocked my confidence a little bit because I was like, what is that what it is in this industry? Is it just full of people like that? One of the ladies on the course actually recommended Logan's course. And so I got in contact with him, and he's lovely.
Yeah.
He is, yeah. And what I really loved about it was he allows you to find yourself. Here we go.
Yeah.
he is through like creative play and stuff like that. So it's not really regimented like this is how you write a joke.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a joke teller. I kind of take people into a little story. I go sort of in and out of characters. I try to do accents, bad ones, but I give them a go.
Yeah.
And then my very first gig that I did, I did it with somebody I met through that course. And I was like, I don't have any material. Like, I don't really know. Next thing I know, I'm writing a sketch about 2 coffee machines.
Okay.
Yeah. And I act out 2 coffee machines. I act out a German Miele coffee machine.
Right.
And an Italian DeLonghi one. So I've got a DeLonghi one, and I like to think of it as my best friend. It's just right next to me here. And it's Victoria. And I how did it come about? Because my parents, so the Miele is like your premium brand of coffee machine.
Yeah.
Well, they're your premium brand when it comes to like white goods and all that kind of stuff. And this machine, whenever I was at my parents' house making myself a cup of coffee, it'd always be like, needs descaling, needs cleaning, fill up water. And I'm like, oh, it's just so fucking annoying. This thing had a face. It would be like really like, so it looks at you like, me, me.
Yeah.
Me, me. And so I kind of turned this machine into like a person.
Right.
And it ended up being, in this sketch that I did, you had the German machine was really regimented.
Yeah.
And it started as your coffee will be ready at exactly 5 minutes past 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
You must clean me every Tuesday or I squirt dirty water from my pipes. Would you like to be drinking dirty water from my pipes? I shouldn't laugh at my own stuff. I think I'm laughing at the weirdness of it. And then I got, mine's a DeLonghi one, and it's Italian, and it's a lot more relaxed. And it goes in, oh, good morning, beautiful lady. How are you? Don't worry about the cleaning me regularly. I don't mind being a little dirty. I find it adds to the flavor of the coffee. and it went on, and it ends up like the Miele coffee machine's a bit of a racist. And doesn't like so I end it with the mainly about the Miele is mainly about something, and then it's like, it could be best. You could have one of those. Oh, don't make me say it. So it's like, what is the N word? And the N word, yes, Nespresso. Yeah, and then the DeLonghi is just basically a big old flirt. So yeah, I did this 10-minute. It was almost 10 minutes, I think, for my first gig, playing out me and 2 coffee machines arguing with each other.
How did that go? How did that go? It was with amazing.
The audience? Yeah, I mean, I watched it back and I was like, Jesus, it actually did. It went really well. It was a really good night. It surprised me because I was so nervous. I mean, on stage, I could hear, I was like, I could hear every breath that I was taking. But it went really well. And then, he said, oh, you have to watch the video back. You have to. So I remember one of the guys who filmed it, he sent it to me, and I felt physically sick at the thought of watching it.
Yeah.
I felt all those nerves come back, and I record all my gigs now, so I've become quite sort of like, I've toughened up a little bit to that. But yeah, it was really good. And then the second time I did that, it was like performing it in front of a bunch of corpses.
Okay. And then you got the reality, you got the complete contrast of what open mic comedy can be.
Yeah. Well, I on my second gig, I did some different material because I've done recently I've done a set that I've stuck with for ages, and I'm actually trying to work on some more new stuff now. But for my first 3 gigs, I think I did different material on each one because I was trying to sort of experiment with it a bit. And then I found one set sort of based around sort of school mums and stuff. So I've got a lot of school mum stuff and kids. That I did that for a little bit, and then I went back to the coffee machine, did it the second time, and that's when it was like nobody liked it.
Oh,
I was like, oh. But then I've kind of brought it back because I'm MCing a bit more now. I've dropped it in a little bit, just to test the waters with it again. You know, people want to hear the coffee machine stuff, and they quite like it.
Yeah, I can't see why something like that wouldn't work. But then I guess every audience is different, isn't it? And
yeah,
that's the challenge when it comes to doing this stuff. Is I think in the early days you can fall into the trap of you do something and it goes really well, and you go, well, everyone's going to love it. And then you soon realise, no, that's not quite the case.
Yeah. There's been some tough gigs at times, but that's just life, isn't it? That's part of the journey.
Yeah. So how did you find? So was the course fully online then that you did?
Logan's, yeah, it was. He does one in person, but because I've got the kids and everything I've got to do is to fit around them.
Yeah.
So it was a Wednesday evening. I think it was like 4 weeks.
Okay. What made you want to get into comedy?
Well, my dad kind of planted the seed in my head quite a few years ago. You should do stand-up. I was like, why? It was because you're funny. I'm like, okay. But the thing is I think it's very different when you're being funny with your friends and family compared to actually writing something and doing it on stage. And I said, well, I wouldn't know where to start. Yeah, he's like, oh, well, you know, go and do a course. Right, all those courses are in London. I mean, this was like, you know, back before COVID time.
Yeah.
The kids came along, COVID happened, everything ground to a halt. And then I found myself looking around for courses again, maybe one that I could make, because I couldn't do a Sunday night 6 weeks in a row. So I found the original one that I did online. And then when I got recommended Logan's course, I found out he did an online one as well. So just made it easier for me to slot it in the evening.
Yeah.
Didn't have to go anywhere.
So where did you, when you signed up for the course, what was the ambition when you started? Was it, this is a bucket list item, or this is, I'm going to try and make a career, or what?
I do take it quite seriously. So I wouldn't have done that course just because I wanted to have a bit of fun.
Right.
I wanted to do something with it.
Yeah.
I did sports therapy at uni, and then set up a sports injury clinic. So I did the course with the career that I wanted to go into.
Mm-hmm.
I sold that clinic when I fell pregnant with my second, and didn't really know what I wanted to do for a while. So I saw this as a career. Actually, I mean, I did try to suppress the kind of business woman in me a little bit. I'm like, no, we're not gonna do this. But she's kind of like, yes, we are.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna run clinics.
Yeah.
And next, maybe we might manage acts in the future. Who knows? But yeah, so for me, it's like, well, yeah, I'd like a career in it. I'd like to earn some money with it. I'd like to earn a decent living. Yeah, I'm not looking for like multi-millions and all that kind of stuff, but to earn a decent little living from it, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Travel a bit, meet people.
Oh, I get it. It's always interesting to see why people get into it, because I think there's a certain element of people that get into it just for a one-off bit of a laugh, and then all of a sudden they're hooked.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm still doing this 2-3 years later, and I didn't see that happening. The moment I stepped into a class, it was like, yeah, this is for fun. And then the moment you do your showcase, it's like, this is great. How do I do more?
Oh, because the highs are great.
Oh, the highs are phenomenal.
The highs are really good. When you've had a really good gig and you just feel like, for me as well, after a really good gig, I feel like I kind of just let go of a lot of stuff. It doesn't even have to be stuff related to whatever it was I mean, to be honest, it's probably not related to whatever I was blabbering on about on stage. But just, it's like exercise, isn't it? It's endorphins.
Yeah.
You get a real good rush of endorphins. And then when you have a shit gig, it's like, I just want to go and hide in a hole.
Yeah.
Never see anyone again.
Yeah. When you have that good gig in and you look back and you kind of go, everything worked. And if it's come from a pre-planned set, it's like all the hard work I put into that has hit and it's worked on top of the world. And if it's an off the cuff thing, you're like, I'm naturally funny. I feel great. I'm brilliant. And like, so when that gig goes badly and you're like, nothing works, all this hard work, is it wasted? Am I really who I think I am?
Yeah.
And somebody once said to me is that when I first started, he said, you have to, the way you should look at gigs is that out of every 10, you'll storm one. Yeah. You'll have probably 2 or 3 good ones, a couple of average ones, and the rest will be dog shit.
Yeah.
But it's those good ones and the ones you storm that make the dog shit ones all worth going through.
Yeah. And I think, as I've been told and heard from many comedians, is that if you've had laughs from it before, you know it works.
Yeah.
So it's not always you. It might be you, but it can be a mixture sometimes of you and the audience, or it could be the audience just not up for it. But I genuinely just love making people laugh, even like outside of comedy with my friends and family and stuff. I often turn to humour as a distraction as well. And I think what I wanted to give people when I'm on stage is just escapism from their life.
Yes. Yeah. They've made the effort to come out, and it's like, well, if you do a set and somebody in that audience has forgotten about the crap day they've had for those 5-10 minutes you're on stage, and it's because of you.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling, I don't think.
It's
really.
Therapy.
Yeah.
For the comedians and for the crowd, I think.
Yeah.
I say crowd, the audience.
Yeah.
One day it'll be a crowd.
So what are the best and worst moments you've had on stage then in the last 18 months?
Should we start with worst, actually? Let's get the shit bit over and done with.
Go on then.
I've had gigs where I've felt like pretty down afterwards. I'm like, I wasn't really getting any laughs. But I've watched the video back and you can hear someone really chuckling away in the background. And I'm thinking, why the bloody hell couldn't I hear that when I was on stage?
Yeah.
And I've sort of roped off. I did one down in Bournemouth not that long ago, and really amazing looking place. The guy who ran it is lovely. But there was this, I think there was a row of like loads of women on a hen do.
Oh, okay.
In front. They're all sort of a similar age to me as well, actually, and they had kids. As I was listening to I always try and listen to the MC and get a feel of the audience. And I thought, oh, actually, I could really probably connect with this lot because I'm a mum, and I think I just felt like I'd be able to connect. So I go on stage and I'm all ready for it, and I said, "Hi, I'm Victoria, and I'm a mum," and it's like.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I know if I don't get the little woo when I say that, it's going to be tough. So I did my set, and it wasn't terrible. The guy who ran it, he's like, you didn't bomb. I was like, I felt like I did. I felt like I just. But then a couple of people came up to me afterwards and they said, oh, we thought you were really funny. Don't worry about them. Like, they're just. And I was like, yeah, but the thing is that I've heard this as well on your podcast, is that you do focus in on that group of people or the one person who's sort of,
yeah,
and you're like, why don't you like me? Why don't you like me? And I went outside, and there was a group of lads, and they said, "What's wrong? We thought you were good." I said, "Yeah, okay." And this guy said, he goes, "You look so fed up. You look like you've just run over a pigeon." And I was like. So I don't really like pigeons. I don't really care much for pigeons. They're just dumb. I feel like I've run over a gazelle. And then, funny enough, that's kind of led on to a little bit of material that I wrote about gazelles a while ago. So I'm going to see where it goes.
Okay.
I can use it. Yeah.
I do like that when you can pull something out of a strange comment and go, I can write something around that. That's what it's quite fun to do.
I've kind of, I don't know if this is ever going to catch on this saying, but when somebody's moaning about it could be worse, you could be a gazelle.
You never know.
That's because they're bottom of the food chain, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they're there. They're like happy springing around. So when they were being made, and the creator was like, right, okay, so you're going to be really fast. Oh, excellent, excellent. Oh, very agile. Oh, great, great. You can jump really high. Amazing, excellent. Okay, you're going to be a vegan. Okay. But don't worry, you're going to live in a really good hot climate. Oh, excellent, excellent. And you're going to be bottom of the food chain. Oh, okay. I'll be surprised if you make it to 6 months.
Yeah. The gig never went as bad as you thought it did.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but I think actually probably the worst was one of the ones I actually ran myself. Yeah, it was at a venue. There was a table there, and they were all absolutely pissed.
Right.
And they were getting up in front of all the acts. They interrupted everybody, but because mine is, and I was the least experienced one there out of all the comedians there, they were all awesome comedians. And my set, I set it up at the beginning, and I take you on this little journey and various different weird and wonderful adventures, and then I wrap it up at the end. And if you haven't listened, or it's been interrupted or stuff like that, because I'm still trying to learn to get back on, be able to go off and come back to it. Yeah. If you can't listen to my whole set, or it gets lost somewhere, then the bit at the end, it's like a balloon.
Yeah.
Deflating. And they were getting up, they were shouting, they were just horrible, actually.
Okay.
And at the end, I just stood there. I went, well, this was fun, and then just walked off. Yeah, that was also one in Christchurch as well. It's like 5 people in the audience, 2-hour drive down to Christchurch. Started doing my set. They sat there like,
yeah.
So I stopped halfway through, and I said, like, what do I have to do to make you guys laugh? And I started just talking to them, and actually thought, no, what am I going to do here? I quickly kind of changed my mindset. I thought, no, okay, I'm going to work on some MC stuff. So I would just talk to the crowd and see how that goes. And
yeah,
I actually learned quite a lot from it. I ended well.
Yeah. That's good. That's quite a bold thing to do, especially in the early stages of comedy.
Yeah.
Just accepting it's not going well and trying to work out what you can salvage from it.
Yeah.
I think there's so many times you turn up to a gig and you see the people go before you and you kind of go, they're rubbish, or they've not hit it. They've not hit it. The crowd just not feeling it. So then you think, maybe I can save it. And then you get halfway through and you go, oh God, this is just not happening. And the majority of people just plow on and still get nothing rather than going, okay, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? Let's have some fun. Let's see what we can get out of you. And I think a lot of people would shy away from doing that.
Yeah. It was a turning point for me, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because where gigs have previously, where I've had gigs that haven't really gone so well, and you just get I think you've mentioned this before, like just the silent chuckles, the kind of it's just all fine, but it doesn't make you feel, because like it's like, well, the last guy was getting massive belly laughs. Why am I not getting that too? But people have said to me before, you've got to have like a backup. You've got to be able to switch it to something that if you feel like you're losing them, turn to that.
Yeah.
And that has been something that for a while I hadn't had the confidence to do, because my stuff has always been so scripted, and I've memorized it and rehearsed it and rehearsed it. To go off on a completely different subject tangent, it was quite a night. But I appreciate having the chance to do that, and it's helped with the MC stuff a lot.
So what about the best gigs then?
Oh yeah, they do exist.
Yes. We do have them.
We do have best gigs. I think let's go. I've some lovely ones. I really love doing the Murph one in Nanaimo, Covent Garden.
Oh, okay, yeah. Isn't that like a Japanese restaurant?
Yeah. But it's a really good room because it's intimate and the audience are right there. with you, and I've done the same set there a few times where I start off bitching about Peppa Pig.
Okay.
Yeah, I start bitching about Peppa Pig. I talk about, because I'm a swimmer as well. I used to compete with swimming, so I talk a bit about that. Actually wrote a little bit in the pool whilst I was swimming at one point, being overtaken by an Australian swimmer. Yeah. So I sort of talk a bit about that, and then I go into orcas taking over the world.
Right.
And then finish off with Peppa Pig. And I've done that set a few times. And the good thing about the gig in Covent Garden is that you could be there every day of the week and it's a different audience each time. And one of the ones that stands out the most actually was it was a very, very young crowd. I say young, they're probably all in their 20s, like early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
A lot of students and stuff. And I was thinking, oh, God, are any of them going to connect with my stuff? So I went on, I said, I'm Victoria, I'm a mum. I actually got a cheer. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, any other parents in the audience?
Yeah.
One woman just sat at the back, I'm a grandma. I was like, okay. Then I said, okay, so even if you're not a parent, you might still be familiar with Peppa Pig. And they all went, yeah. And I was like, okay, good. Yeah. And what I loved is we just connected. It was me and we were just all laughing, and it was fun, and it was just lovely, and all the other acts were fantastic as well. So the energy was really high. And when I was leaving, there was a group of them outside, and they all full of praise, and it made me feel really good. I felt good. And then I MC'd there for the first time. I've done a couple of times MCing there. I MC'd there for the first time a few weeks back, and took the experience from the Christchurch gigs. What I was talking about with them, I kind of formed it into a little bit of a set and used it. And yeah, the crowd, I keep saying crowd. I'm going to say crowd.
Yeah, it's a crowd.
They were amazing. It was just so good. They were all laughing. I was having fun with them. I tried to connect everybody in a positive way. I focus more on love.
Yeah.
Rather than, I don't like punching down at people or anything like that. It was really, really lovely. And then when I came off, the other acts were like, yeah, patting me on the back and stuff like that. It was like a flipping sports tournament or something. I felt a bit like the Messiah then. It was good.
Good.
So that was good fun. There's been a few that have been just really, really lovely.
Yeah.
But was it RSK, I think, said to me once after I was feeling a bit like I'd had a bit of a roll of bad gigs. And I think she said, I'll give myself 24 hours to mope about it and then get on with it.
Yeah.
And I think, I do that with the bad gigs, but I think I'm the same with the good gigs now. I think I'm like, right, I'm going to wrap it all up, feel good.
Yeah.
But then move on to the next one. So I don't have the headspace to remember every single gig that I've done. Either I've got 2 children, they take up a lot of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, even if you don't have that kind of heavy life, I think there's certain gigs that you kind of almost instantly forget. You've got the good ones. You always remember the really good ones and the really bad ones, but there's a load in the middle that are just meh, whatever.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, I don't really remember what happened, and nothing was significant, and didn't get anything out of it, but it's just another number on the piece of paper if you're one of those that records your gigs as such.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is as well is when you walk out on I don't know if this is the same for others, but when you walk out on stage, it's almost like you're stepping into another dimension, and then you step off stage and you're you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that moment like when you step. What I find is when I step on stage, the adrenaline hits and I go into on stage persona mode, and then I come off stage and I go, I have no idea what I just said for the last 10 minutes. I could not tell you. Yeah. And I'll start sitting there after going, did I say that line?
Yes.
And I'll get the notes out that I've got and go, did I hit everyone? I can't remember. And it's literally gone until I have the guts to actually look it back again and go, oh yeah, I did. I got it. I got everything. And I put something in a different place or whatever. But for that moment on stage, it's like this out of body experience that the person off stage doesn't recall happening.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is. But I think that's a good thing. So I think if you carried that around with you all the time, I think we'd all go even more insane than we already are.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Hi there, I'm Reb Day from episode 36, and I do apologise for this interruption of the Open Mic Comedy podcast. Every week, one comedian painstakingly takes us through their journey into the comedy world, and even though it might sound like they hate talking about themselves, they actually love it. And I hear you asking, how? How can I, a person with the ability to listen to podcasts, give back to those whose idea of a good night out is being applauded at and praised? The answer is simple. And the answer is brilliant, because it's free. All you need to do is give the Open Mic Comedy podcast a like, a follow, and hey, maybe even a 5-star review. Thank you so much for listening to the Open Mic Comedy podcast. I've been Reb Day. Let's jump back into the episode.
So you mentioned this kind of already, but the comedy you do isn't just in London, is it? You do a lot outside of London as well.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the ladies I met on the very first gig that I did, we kind of got together and started organising some gigs, because the thing is, being outside of London, you don't have quite as many gigs that you can get to.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, meeting the Londoners and they're like, oh, I've done 50 gigs in a month.
Yeah.
And sometimes 2 a night. And I'm just like, I'm lucky if I can get in 1 a week.
Yeah.
1 or 2 a week. And because I can't be traveling to London all the time.
No.
And it's expensive as well. So we decided that we were just going to try and start running our own, and we're just learning as we go. And so we got in touch with some venues, and they were up for it, and we just went from there. Really, just tried to promote the hell out of it. And we invited some comedians that I'd met along the way, and some that Jules had met as well. And we thought, well, what we would do is we'll do a bit of a profit share with our gigs.
Yeah.
Because then at least everybody gets a little bit of money, and if nothing else, it just covers their travel expenses, which I think is quite important these days.
Yeah, definitely.
And for us, it was so we could have more gigs nearer to where we live.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the gigs around here are pro lineups, which is great if you can get in them. But obviously, if for somebody like myself that's only been going for 18 months, it's tougher to get onto those gigs. So why not do it ourselves?
Yeah. So how have they been going then?
Well, so far, most of them have pretty much sold out. I'm trying to think how many we've done now. Oh God, I've lost count. We've done quite a few, and pretty much all of them have sold out. We've got one next Thursday. Which I'm trying to push a little bit more. That's probably been a little bit stressful, but there's such a good lineup though.
I was going to say, because I had obviously have a scour through Instagram and stuff, and you can see like some of the acts that you have on. You know, they're not exactly unknown acts, are they?
No, but the thing is, I've done quite a bit of work with Jeff Whiting, Mirth Control, and he would, when we first sort of met, he'd be chatting away, he'd be chucking out all these names, and I'd be like, who? Well, they're like massive in the comedy world. I'm like, are they? Can you show me a picture? So show me a picture. Oh, yeah, that guy or that girl. Because I'm not so good with names. But I think people who don't do comedy don't necessarily know how amazing some of these acts are.
Yeah.
So I'm there saying, like, these guys are like mega. They've supported all the greats that you see on TV today. They've done this, they've done that, they've been on radio, and then they're like, and I'm like, but it's And that's really frustrating.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You almost have to sell it like you might be seeing somebody for the first time that's going to be massive one day, and you see him in an arena in 5 years' time, because they've moved up the ladder. They've gone from maybe even just open mic to supporting a professional to actually being the headliner.
Yeah,
and then you've seen that person in the pub, and it's kind of that. I guess you have to sell it a bit to some of the audience, because some of them are like, yeah, I don't know who they are, because they're not on Have I Got News For You every week, and they're not on QI and stuff like that. I always find it quite funny, because I look back at times when I used to go and watch stand-up comedy, and I had no interest in performing at all, years and years and years ago. And I go back to a story when I think I must have been about 19 years old. So that was nearly 30 years ago. Shit. I went, me and the girlfriend, then wife now, went to see at the local community centre, Graham Norton do stand up. And it's just like, it's some guy, I vaguely heard the name and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you look 28, 30 years later and you're like, we saw him in a civic hall sitting on school chairs, and we paid about £4 each.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
That's nice though.
There's not that many art forms, I think, where that can happen, but yeah.
Actually, that's a good tip. I might try and sell it a bit more like that then. The people that, I mean, but the people who've got supporting them are also amazing too. So they could be the next big thing.
You just never know what that person on stage is going to do and where they're going to go and stuff like that. You sometimes go to, don't know about you, if you ever go to a comedy show or whatever, you pick a random night if you're out, whatever, and go, okay, go and watch that. Don't know who's on, go and see it and go, why is that person not on telly? Why is that person not massively famous? Because they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And you realise when you're in the industry how many people are actually doing this.
Yes. I couldn't believe it, actually. It's mental.
I mean, I never knew open mic nights really existed as such for comedy only. And then you go to them, and you go to some nights and you're like, there's 15 acts on the bill. You're thinking, okay, that seems like a lot. And then you realise there's another 4 nights going on the same night in the same vicinity who've got similar numbers on there. You're like, how many people are actually doing this as a part-time bit of fun, hoping to get somewhere with it?
Yeah.
And there must be thousands.
Yeah. These days you have to have about 150 million followers on Instagram to...
Yeah.
Let's not go there. That winds me up.
It's a very strange one, though, because everyone seems to put this hook on social media about how big you are on social media can entail whether you're picked up or booked for a show and stuff like that. But when I look at, like on the podcast, when I look at the people that have got thousands upon thousands of followers, and I look at the number of downloads from those compared to, say, somebody who's got 300-400, there's not that much difference.
Interesting.
It's weird.
I do wonder how that many people can actually just connect with one person. I do think it's a bit strange. And I hate social media. I generally hate it because I think it can be quite soul destroying sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, you put a little clip up of something, or you put a story up, and then suddenly you're like, how many people have looked at it? How many people like it? How much interest is it getting? And then I'm on it because I kind of have to be, because it's the industry. Do I want to be on social media? Not really.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a weird thing, isn't it? As well as when you get into, especially I guess younger comedians nowadays that get into this game, they go on Instagram and they've got their profiles and all of that, and they get booked through that. But then they realise you have got to be on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And Facebook feels like it's a dying platform.
Yeah.
But it's probably being kept alive by the comedy market that will not move off booking people from Facebook for some bizarre reason. You just like Comedy Collective and stuff like that. And you're just like, if you want to find gigs, you've kind of got to be in that group.
You've got to be on it.
Then it becomes all consuming, and that's all your feed ever becomes. And you're just like, oh God, just give me a break.
Oh yeah, it is. It is nuts. Like the sort of the news feed. It's just gig on this night, this comedy night being. Some people I don't even know.
Yeah.
I was like, where is that place? I don't even know that place exists.
Yeah.
It's either that or school moms posting about how brilliant they think their kids are.
Yeah.
I don't think their kids are brilliant. Just saying. I don't love your kid, Kate. Sorry.
No. Would you say you're more of an MC now than a comedian, or
A bit of both.
50-50?
Depends what I'm doing on the night. I'll switch.
So which one do you enjoy the most?
I feel like I'm going to be a traitor to one if I say one or another. What do I enjoy the most? I think actually recently I've enjoyed MCing. And I think that's because, I don't know, I feel like it's a challenge that I'm kind of overcoming. I love just getting to know people, getting to know the audience. And I am quite a people person. I'm quite good with people. It's the old sort of therapist in me. And actually I quite like being able to kind of go off topic. And what's nice is with the MC stuff is you can do a bit of your material. You can test out little bits of material on them as well. Because I think it's important for the MC to have a bit of material and to show a bit of their sort of comedian side as well. Because you're a comedian. I don't. You're an MC. You're a comedian. Like I don't know if there's a one or the other. I imagine both together. I guess I'm just breaking the rules. I don't know.
I've definitely seen acts that are better MCs and comedians and vice versa.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the moment I'm enjoying the MC stuff because I'm doing a bit more of it. And then I'll probably think, I wouldn't mind doing a bit more of a set piece again, and but it's all fun when it goes well.
I think you've built up a valuable skill in that you can knowing that you can kind of take yourself out of a set to do an MC part of it, if you see what I mean, to be a bit looser and a bit more fun and playful, and you bring people into the journey with you, I think, as an MC, rather you speak with them rather than at them. Yes,
yeah. I was just gonna say, I remember one particular gig. There was this was at Covent Garden. There was a young couple there, and they didn't seem to be laughing much. And one of the other comedians said to me, and Jules was there at the same time actually. She's like, that couple there, and I said, I'm going to change that. So I basically got right up in their face. and brought them into it. Yeah, and that's what I love doing. I like bringing them into my crazy little world and just being a part of it. And they were laughing, and they felt it was almost like they suddenly felt, oh, I'm part of this.
Yeah,
she likes me. I'm part of it.
It's kind of like it is okay to laugh. You don't have to just sit there and just glum faced. You can let go of emotion. Let emotions out. Have some fun.
Yeah.
I think some people are just a bit nervous about that. They enjoy it a lot, but they just like, no. But then you get that challenge of, come into my world. I almost want to bring you on stage without bringing you on stage.
Yes.
And feel like you are part of the night.
Yeah, you want them to feel, again, I'm telling you to loved and wanted.
Yeah.
One of the things I sort of said on the stage, I was like, I love love. Who else loves love? And everyone kind of went, yeah. And I'm like, good. Good. We don't have to be all full of doom and gloom.
Yeah. It's enough of that in the outside world. Let's for the next 2 hours, let's have some fun and get along with each other. When you're
my audience, you leave that shit outside.
Yeah. I get it. So for you then, you've kind of touched on it already, I guess, is when you're creating a set or joke writing.
Yeah.
It comes from is it with you? Is it just comes from a random phrase or something that you go, I'm going to build something around that? Or are you one of these that can sit down and go, right, I've got a blank piece of paper, let's write something?
I can't just sit and write something on a blank piece of paper. No, I've got to have an idea and work around it, or something's got to happen that triggers triggers something in me that I think, well, that's quite, well, I think it's quite funny. Now I've got to make other people find it funny.
Yeah.
I kind of have like, it's like with the example, the coffee machine idea. Once I had that idea, those characters, I could build on it really quite easily.
Yeah.
And I could actually probably sit there and write a whole hour's kind of set on various different kitchen appliances getting involved in the whole conversation, you know? We could bring in washing machines, dishwashers, toasters,
Yeah.
and have a full-on musical going on. With, do you want to
So with the actual joke writing, then it's a case of starting out with a premise or something and then building around it.
Yes.
One person I spoke to recently came up with like quite an interesting way that he does it, is that he comes up with a punchline and then works backwards.
Yes.
I know I'd never heard it really being done kind of much like that before.
Yeah.
And I wondered, is that something you've ever done?
It's probably similar. I wouldn't say a punchline because, again, my stuff isn't like set up punchline, punchline. It's yeah. But I'd have an idea. So ages ago, I had I was watching David Attenborough documentaries, and it seemed like orcas, the killer whales, appeared in all of them.
Yeah.
And it just started watching it, and it would be like, the sea lion sitting happily on his iceberg, minding his own business, but his peace is about to be disturbed. And I literally say, orcas, along they come.
Yeah.
And then so I kind of said, well, they're kind of dicks, aren't they? Just eat everything. And we were just having a bit of a laugh, me and my husband, about that. And I thought, okay, so that's an idea, but I like my stories, my sets to kind of link. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like to have a good kind of lead in. So I had this idea and I'd worked on it but I was like, but there's nothing there to kind of start it.
Yeah.
Like, where can I go from there? And then, so I kind of, I don't know, maybe I wait for something to happen that triggers something like, oh, that links. So it was when once I was swimming and this guy just goes past me really fast, and I got chatting to him, and he was an Australian guy. He's like, oh yeah, I used to swim for Australia over 21. I was like, all right, well, I swam for Bracknell. And then he pushed off, and I am, a little bit competitive in the water still.
Right.
Lane rage is a thing. It's a dangerous sport, swimming, for those of you who don't do it.
Yeah.
It's hardcore. So I was swimming along, and I was like, oh, good God, they're just natural born swimmers, aren't they, Australians? And then I kind of got into, I go into the kind of, I don't know, maybe story world or something, where I'm like, oh, I bet when his parents were going for their pregnancy scan, the sonographer was like, okay, let's have a look at the dorsal fin then.
Yeah.
So I kind of built it around that. And then I was like, oh my God, yeah, then I can connect that with the orcas. I can be like, whoa, oh yeah, my wife gave birth to baby Skylar in the sea. Yeah, she came out just 6 months old. She's already speaking fluent orca. And then there was my link.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I work.
So with the running your own gigs then, how often do you put them on and where are they?
Okay, so we've had quite a few in Birdies in Farnham. And then we've got, the first one we did was Jackson's in Wokingham. We've had a few there. So I'm trying to get hopefully another date with them for another one.
Yeah.
And then we've got Royal Foresters in Ascot next week, which has Dave Thompson, former Teletubby.
Yeah.
And Mike Gunn.
Okay.
So it's and then some amazing acts in the middle. I bet they'd like me to name them. Who have we got? Samuel Love, Nick Holloway, Harry Fitzgerald, and Alexandra Ivanova.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple of them.
Yeah. So it's good, really good, strong lineup.
Yeah.
And I'm MCing, so hopefully I'll do them proud.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Make sure the audience will nice and warm and ready for them.
So do you do them? Do you do the gigs regularly, or is it kind of almost a bit like a, I don't want to say traveling show, but you flip between different venues quite a bit, or is it?
Well, we are trying to have like Birdies is. I think we've got a few dates sort of in the diary coming up for that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure I've missed out a venue somewhere, but ideally we would like to be running them once a month, but not at the same venue.
Yeah.
Once a month, because I think if you have them at the same venue too much around here, like then they won't sell. So maybe so ideally we kind of want to be doing like one venue 1 month, then another venue another month, then another venue, and then we go back to the other venue, and do you know what I mean? So have it on rotation. But I'm also partnering up with another comedian as well to run some more gigs, sort of outskirts of London.
You are definitely the business lady, aren't you, here?
Well, yeah, why not?
That's not a criticism. That's I love the ambition of going, right, let's do something else, and keep it moving and get the momentum going.
As well as like I love performing and all of that stuff, but I also like just creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
Because I did that with my clinic. That building process of going out there, getting people to come in, treating them, inflicting pain on them for the greater good. That was really rewarding. So that feel, I mean, actually, after running one of my own gigs, the day after, I'm shattered. I'm just like,
yeah.
And then people go, "Oh, it's really good, really good fun. It's really good, I really enjoyed it." I'm like, "Did you?" Good. And then about 3 or 4 days later, I'm like, "Oh, that was good."
Yeah.
I want to do it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love working with people as well. So I've got I think I've got a few I've had a few comedians asked to work with me too.
Okay, that's good.
Which is nice. So I do enjoy the business side of things.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's because, again, I'm not normal.
So how many gigs have you done now then over your comedy? Yeah.
I've stopped counting.
Okay.
That's going to sound like I've done loads. So many, I've lost count. I just I started off counting and then I stopped counting, but I haven't done loads. I want to say around 50 maybe.
Okay.
I am still a baby in the comedy world.
It's interesting at what point you're not considered a baby, whether it's number of gigs or how long you've been going. So I think there's a
I mean, I'd love to do more. Unfortunately, a few were cancelled the last couple of months as well. So that was annoying. Because the thing is that if one gets cancelled, I probably have a bigger gap between the next gig than those who live more central London, who's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter if that one's cancelled because I've got another one tomorrow."
Yeah.
But I can't. I have to plan. Everything has to be planned around the children and the husband. So,
I was going to ask as well on the actual open mic circuit. What have you enjoyed about it? What don't you like, and what would you change?
What do I enjoy? I enjoy. I just enjoy the chance to perform, meet new people, try out different venues. That's always fun, and the networking side of it. And what don't I enjoy? It's not right. I mean, sometimes when you have to travel a bit and there's no one there, that just sucks.
Yeah.
It's it can get quite expensive.
But
so what would I change?
Yeah.
I think if you're selling tickets and you're actively making money from it, at least contribute a bit towards the act's travel costs.
Yeah.
That's because that's it. Like, then at least nobody's doing it at a massive loss. I don't think we're at a time now where we can just literally be like, I'm going to stop working and stop doing this and stop doing that and just go and try and live my dream for X number of years. It's just people are struggling, I think, financially, and I think if at least their travel expenses were paid for, that would That would help.
Yeah. No, I do agree. It's
but the free gigs, like the ones where you're not selling tickets, that's fine. I think like the ones where I wouldn't expect to have to pay anybody for that if they're just coming to a free open mic kind of thing. But the ticketed events, I think it's important just to give the acts a little bit of money, which is what we try to do with the gigs that we run.
Yeah. I think, and the thing is, it keeps other people coming back to you as well and wanting to perform because they know they're going to get something that's going to help them and make them feel a bit more valued.
Yes, and this is what I said quite early on, actually. Had a disagreement with some people because I kind of spoke out about their lack of organisation, and they're like, well, it's like a £5 event. It's not that big a deal. And I'm like, and I said, well, no. I said, people are taking the time to come out and watch you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether they're paying £5, £50 or £500. They are still paying money to come and watch you perform, taking time out of their evening to come and watch and support you. If you've got the attitude of whatever, then the night's going to be whatever. And funnily enough, that night was whatever, because that's the attitude towards it. And I always said, I said to Jeff, I said, I think that it's important that the comedians feel valued as well. They've taken the time to travel to your venue to entertain your people. Yep. You've got to give them a little bit of cash for it. I probably get shot for saying that, but that's just my opinion. I think your time is the most valuable thing that you have in this world. And there's a limited amount of it. So I think people do need to feel valued, and we're getting very serious and deep now, aren't we?
Well, it's not, I mean, it's, I've only ever put on 2 nights, and the first night, nobody got paid because we basically did it all for charity in a local pub kind of thing. Then we put another night on, and that was the first night was a donations at the end kind of thing, and then the second night was it's £10 a ticket, and the headliner, everybody got paid money. Headliner, MC, and the opener got paid proper money. The open spots in the middle got money as well. And it was more than their travel expenses or whatever. And it just makes them feel valued and they want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I got paid for a gig was Comedy Southwest. Do you know that?
I've heard of them,
Yeah. It was the first ever gig I did in London. And she said at the end, send me your account details. I was like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, only be a few quid. But that, 20 quid. That's the best 20 quid I've ever earned. I was just so grateful for that. Like, it's the fact that you've given them some money.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's that you valued somebody's time. They've come to entertain your crowd. And if you've got money to spare to offer the acts, because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you've got no acts, you've got no show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So providing and assuming things do start going well for you and you get to do an hour show about coffee machines and kitchen appliances, what are you going to pick as would you have a walk-on song to come onto the stage to? And if so,
I was
what
waiting
would it
for
be?
this question. I need to actually check that I've got the title of it correctly, because otherwise I'll say I'm daft. I'm like, this song, and I named it wrong. Not Going Away by Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I'm just checking out. It's actually what it's called.
No, I haven't.
I like loads of songs. Ones that have a really good, punchy, rocky, sound. I thought, walk on and be like, yeah, I'm the boss. I think not. That's quite a good one. If you and it says something like, try to break me, but you can't, or something along those lines. That kind of like, don't put me down. I'm going to get back up again. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
I was listening to words, so I was like, this is quite good walk-on music with all the lights and smoke and fire. There's got to be fire.
Yeah. If you listen to this, I love walk-on music. I think it should be incorporated onto many comedy and open mic. I
want to do that for some of the gigs that I run. It's just it's 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 just trying to work the technology, you know.
Yeah.
So you don't have like the person who's trying to start and the song's still going in the background. You're like, turn the fucking speaker.
Yeah. Yeah, I did at one point think about when I put on that very first night for charity, I did think about having people being able to bid for other comedians' walk-on songs and them not know what it is until they get on stage. I always thought that'd be quite a bit of fun because it kind of lightens the mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives the comedian an immediate opening line about this song that's been picked for them.
Yeah, that'd be good, actually. And it would be interesting to see, because I guess you try and match the song with the persona.
But there's people that will go the complete opposite way, isn't there? That's the thing. The idea kind of came to me because I know somebody that they did one of those white collar boxing things. So they trained for 6 weeks or whatever to do boxing or whatever. But they were doing it for charity, and they actually auctioned off their walkout music.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't know what it was going to be until the moment he stepped out, and it was his mates had put in and put something like "I'm coming out." So rather than walking out to this really hard thumping, get yourself going music.
I'm coming out.
Yeah.
It's like that. Have you seen the film Here Comes the Boom?
No.
It's about a guy who trains to do cage fighting to raise money for his school that's about to go under. And he walks on to Here Comes the Boom by POD.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's like walking along like this. He gets on stage and the guy just goes, knocks him out.
Yeah.
So I'm coming out would have been better for him, probably.
Yeah. I think the guy actually came out and went all camp on his walk on as well as he heard the music and kind of played into it. But I always think it's quite fun. And this is like what we talk about is there's lots of serious stuff going on outside the walls you're in. Make it as fun as you can inside. And yeah, I just think stuff like that adds a dimension that you don't get on a lot of places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there anything you wanted to plug, promote, or whatever?
Promotion wise, just I do put the links for the gigs that I run on Instagram and Facebook. I am Vicky with a Y _does_comedy. That's where you can find me. I don't put loads of videos up because we've had this discussion. I don't like social media. But please come and watch some of my gigs. Get in touch with me if you'd like to perform at any of them. Ideally, I do tend to go for people who I've seen before.
Yeah,
I think that's quite important, really. So you get an idea of what they're like and stuff like that. Because I do think that. So I'm going for a tangent now. I do think that certain comedians work well in certain venues. So yeah, or send me a video of your stuff. And if you want me to come and do one of your gigs, here I am.
Yeah.
I'm up for it. Maybe MCing as well, if you'd like. There you go. I hate the kind of CV promotional talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's one of those things that, unfortunately, in this world, it has to be done, doesn't it? You have to kind of get yourself out there and known. As much as, certainly on an open mic level, you kind of don't see yourself as competition with other people. You kind of are.
Yeah.
Even though might not be being outwardly competitive, there is an underlying section of competition when you look at somebody and go, how did they get that gig? You go, I want that gig. I want to do that. Yeah,
no, I was just saying, I prefer, I'm better in front of people.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather phone someone up and be like, can we meet up? Although that's not possible these days. Or can I just talk to you over the phone instead of dropping you an email with a video? Because I think if I can just have a chat with you over the phone or meet you in person, or you can just see a little bit of my stuff in person, then I prefer to work that way rather than email and text message and promotional talk that you get like on LinkedIn and stuff. I don't like LinkedIn either.
So as we're kind of winding down near the end, I like to introduce something I was imaginatively called the Comedian's Challenge to every comedian that comes on. And if you're a first-time listener, that is to tell a joke from this joke book called The Little Book of Shit Jokes by Sid Finch. The idea is that the comedians get to pick a joke from this joke book, tell it live on stage, see if they get a laugh, or incorporate it into a set, do whatever they want with it. However, the trick is they don't get to pick the joke by the words, they only get to pick it by page number. So what they're going to get, I've got no idea. So if you want to give me a number between 5 and 95.
65.
65. I was going to say, if one's already gone, we have to keep going until.
Mm-hmm.
Aha! But no, you're in the clear. We have. The
Huzzah!
joke. Yeah. So, it's a little bit of a long one.
Oh, bloody hell!
Yeah. The joke I'd like you to tell on stage is: having lost her job, a woman packs her things and leaves the building. On the way out, a security guard touches her lightly on the shoulder. "Hey," he said warmly. "Plethora. Thanks," says the woman. "That means a lot."
You've gone really quiet.
I don't understand the joke.
I don't either. I'm so glad you said that because I'm like, am I supposed to laugh now?
This has happened before, but this one it might be my delivery. Having lost her job, a woman packs her things and leaves the building. On the way out, a security guard touches her lightly on the shoulder. "Hey," he says warmly. "Plethora. Thanks," says the woman. "That means a lot." Oh, plethora means a lot. Oh, for fuck's sake. The word plethora means a lot.
Oh, does it? I don't fucking know that.
No.
I can't tell a joke when I don't even understand it myself. Trust me to go for that.
No, you can't have that one.
No, I can't.
You can't have that one. I'm not sure if I'm going to edit this bit out or just say pick another number.
Pick another number.
Let's go. Pick a number between 5 and 95.
27.
That's gone.
84.
80. Aha. Would you like joke 1 or joke 2?
1.
For Christmas, I bought my kids luminescent dental braces. I can't wait to see their little faces light up.
Oh, yeah, okay. Can you send me that?
I will send that to you, yes. And I'm not going to edit the other bit out.
Okay. That's fine.
So that one's definitely better and more understandable and not going to... I mean, the other one would just make you die on stage, I think.
Yeah, I can't even say plethora.
Plethora.
I just get completely tongue-tied.
Why would a security guard say plethora anyway?
Yeah, why?
Sorry, Sid.
To be continued.
That's the shittest one of the lot. That really is.
I picked it.
Diabolical. Jesus Christ. I don't think he can make a joke out of that. Anyway. Sorry, can you just recap what your socials were again?
Vicky with a Y. Underscore does, with a Y. So many people spelled it wrong. Vicky _does _comedy on Instagram. And I'm Victoria Smith on Facebook, but Facebook I think is a little bit more personal stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't always add people on Facebook unless I've met them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My YouTube channel, I only share that with people. I don't really
Fair enough.
have it open for all. That's me. That's me on social media.
Okay.
Or you can email me. Send your fan mail to.
And you can find us on Instagram at Open Mic Comedy Pod. We've got a website, openmiccomedy.com. Whichever platform you're listening to us on, please give it a like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is they call it these days. I don't know. I'm getting too old, as I revealed earlier. And thank you for your time today, Vicky.
Thank you for having me.
And for the rest of you, I will speak to you all very, very soon.